Bobby Ventura. You know, I fought to try to get a union in the world of professional wrestling, but look forward. Well, I'll tell you what. Anyway, I can't. Hey, enjoy yourself. Have a great holiday. Exchange gifts. Whatever your religious persuasion, it's the time of the year. Hey, keep up the great work. From Jesse the Body Ventura to you. The Workers Club. I love the name.
It's the Workers Club 108. It's Wilson, it's Larry, it's Gus, and we're gonna finish Tietam Brown, Larry's pick. We're gonna finish it. I think we're gonna finish it. Anything? Does anybody want to cover anything before we dig in? I've got a few things, but that's it. Anybody else?
Not that I can think of. Although I listened to one or two random old episodes, and I did one of Mick's first book episodes, and Gus says, "Does Mick have a humiliation fetish?" And I don't even remember what it was in reference to, but
I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah, interesting. Before we begin, I was going to do this.
It was right before we wondered if Colette Foley had sex with Chris Cornell of Soundgarden.
God, I forgot. She's a rocker. Anybody have anything to say about Rick Derringer dying? We did cover Hulk Hogan. Any thoughts on that?
Listen, I think Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo is like just
Rock
a perfect...
and Roll Hoochie Coo?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would know if I heard it. How does it go?
I could play it
Coochie,
for you.
Coochie, Coochie Coo.
It's cheesy, but it's like it's so good. It's just a perfect 70s
Only
hard rock
play
song.
15 seconds of it.
I know. It's just got a lot of tasty riffs.
Is it better than Frankenstein, though?
No, but no, he played guitar on Frankenstein, so right, he can't diss him there either. You know what I mean? Everyone loves Frankenstein.
I'm more of a Wolfman guy.
No, that's a great lick.
Which one is this?
Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo.
No, I think I have heard this. It's okay.
Oh, nasty riffs.
It's
nasty.
okay.
Yeah, no, that's sick. We used to be a proper country.
I prefer more of a ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dang.
I believe Jimmy Hart sings that on the Pile Driver album or the wrestling album.
Oh.
And I think there's a line about getting pussy, which Jimmy sings as well.
Whoa.
Hey, he was in attendance at Saturday night's main event in Tampa.
Oh, he was okay. That segues. Jesse Ventura was on there. We haven't talked much about Jesse being on these Saturday night main events. I didn't watch.
Oh, he was great. He was like, great. Damian Priest was a pussy. Why is he going out the fucking front door?
Yeah,
awesome.
The modern fans did not like that.
No. He's like, oh, that's real exciting. Like, you're right. It's bullshit. I have it in a cage, Jess.
Paul didn't have Jesse autograph his booking sheet for that night. Didn't Dusty autograph or give him some kind of booking notebook or something like that?
Oh God.
Mick actually did a podcast recently where he wanted to clear up. He is not. I guess there was a rumor that he was making $3 million off of an ambassador role.
Who?
Mick. I did not hear this rumor. I did
I've
not
never
know
heard that either. Yeah.
He goes on a podcast, Casual Conversations with the Classic. It's the name of the podcast. And he said, I don't have an ambassador job that pays me $2.88 million, as has been reported. I don't know what he's talking about. I had an ambassador job for 2 years that paid me literally 1/14 of that. I don't think I'd be out on the road 200 days a year if I was making $2.88 million a year to be an ambassador. I received $0 because I'm not an ambassador. I just want to clear that up as an exclusive. I do not have an ambassador contract. He did say he does have a Legends contract and acknowledged that that is, quote, better than it was 20 years ago. And
that's not bad. $205K, though, to basically not work AEW.
Yeah. I won't work AEW. Give me a Legends contract.
I mean, that's essentially what that deal is.
Yeah. Let's see here. And then he just talked about his Cauliflower Alley Club charity work, where he does the shirt off my back auctions at his one-man shows. You go to his one-man show. He's going to be wearing a flannel. He's going to be wearing a T-shirt, maybe two, I guess. And then he sells the shirt off his back for $500 or more. He said it's usually what it goes for. And all of it goes to the Cauliflower Alley Club. There you go.
Good. I was thinking about today
Yeah.
about us trying to get our hands on that memoir, is the family one that he said, he only printed 25.
Oh, that's right.
I was again game planning. How do we get our hands on it?
That would have to end up in an estate sale or something like that, or somebody's going to find it in a thrift store in Long Island. They're a bar.
Well, I don't know. My friend in pseudo showbiz has interacted with Noelle Foley before. She's got a copy.
Ask her to make a PDF file. Just scan it.
Do you think Frank the Clown has read it?
Yes. He might be in it. When did he write it? A whole chapter devoted to him. Let's see here. Oh,
Frank
can
the
I
Clown
read this
is one of the people I feel like it's okay to call the F word.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Frank, his name. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to read a Vince Russo story because it was making me laugh. It came out. He went out on. By the way, this is listed as a Sportskeeda exclusive because he went on. Did you know that EC3 and Dr. Chris Featherstone have a podcast called The Wrestling Outlaws?
All right.
Okay. And Vince Russo went on and he talked about, do you remember July 14th in 1999 when the Blair Witch Project came out?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you talking about the infamous Blair Bitch Project they were going to do with
Yes. Yeah. No. Sable. She was suing the company. Yes. So we bring Vince the Blonde Bitch Project. He goes, what is this? Vince, it's the Blonde Bitch Project. I don't know what that is. Vince, there's a movie coming out, The Blair Witch Project.
Found footage.
We tell him the whole marketing campaign, the whole 9 yards. His exact words to me, nobody's going to go see that movie. So everyone sees it.
Oh, he's got his finger
And
on
the video. The video would have seen, of course, yeah. It's what happened was Vince and Ed. That's what he says. Vince and Ed. We saw the video, like the marketing, and we're like, we can do that. And it was going to be Stevie Richards portraying Rena Mero, and I guess wandering around in the woods. I don't know, like, where do you go? What do you?
What's the payoff?
Wasn't the Blue Meanie part of it?
Did they actually show it? Because he talks like they did. They maybe they never got around to it.
Maybe.
I remember hearing the Blue Meanie, being involved with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they actually produced anything though, but
I know. Am I just remembering 26-year-old internet news?
Maybe.
That's what I feel like.
It was when Rena Mero was suing the WWE, and bro, the Blair Witch Project was coming out like that weekend. So timely too. We got to jump on this thing. Do you remember what was going on with that, Chris? There was a whole campaign online. People didn't know if it was a shoot or if it was real. That's the same thing, Vince. The PR was unbelievable for that movie, right? I just like the.
How does that translate into a wrestling angle? I still don't.
Maybe somebody attacks Stevie. I can't believe Vince didn't jump on I don't know, like kind of jump on that. The blonde bitch. Yeah. He kind of.
I probably like, why are you wasting time by bringing me Stevie Richards?
That's true. If he had found maybe like Road Dogg or something.
Well, and it's just the typical Russo thing where he develops the title, and that's as far as it gets.
Yeah. They were watching. Ed and him are sitting in their little office or wherever it was that they forget where they were sitting all the time. Jerry Springer's on. The Blair Witch ad comes on. He's like, Blair Witch, more like Blair Bitch. Then he's like, blonde bitch. And then you just take the steps and then it's fun. He's like, we could go out there with a crew.
But see, I don't even think they get that far. I think Russo just develops the words.
Yeah, blonde bitch, blonde witch, or Blair Witch.
Did.
Gus, I have a game for you. We've done this, I think, once, maybe twice. I think we did it with Sophie's Journal, maybe, or with Vince. It's hard to do with real people because you kind of know the beats of their life. It's much easier when it's fiction.
You did Bret Hart quotes.
Did I do Bret Hart quotes?
I think it was me versus Gus, and you gave us a little trivia game.
Gus, since you don't have the book and you're just enjoying a story, a beautiful story of Tietam Brown, I wanted to see. I have one. Let's see, what would be? There's going to be fake ones or real ones. You got to guess what's really coming up in this last little section. Oh, I think we read some of this already. See, I was supposed to do this last week. All right, you ready, Gus?
Sure.
Can you figure out what's Tietam? Now, some boys loved bleeding. We call them queer for the blade, but Tietam won't do it. Won't let anyone else do it either. Says if they want them to bleed, then they'll have to do it hard way. Is that real?
No.
Okay. I show up. She's drunk. She tries to fight it at first, but I know what she wants, so it doesn't take long, and she's fumbling with my trunks. Believe it or not, I'm still wearing my trunks. Balls are all sweaty. She doesn't care. Real?
Yeah.
Sounds like Tietam.
I wrapped my fist around the quarters. They were like a superpower. Not the coolest superpower in the world, but that's how they made me feel. Yeah, I had one hand, but that one quarter-filled hand could pack a punch that would rival Rocky on his best day. Real?
Real.
Okay. And then oh no, we didn't get to any of it. Vomit came forth in violent bursts, splashing the presents, splashing the tree, catching a letter beside a special delivery envelope. I picked up the letter, looked at it hard.
Not real.
Okay, let's go in order here. Queer for the blade, real. I show up, she's drunk, real. I wrap my fist around the quarters, fake. I made that up. Vomit came forth in violent bursts, real. Okay, let's get into it. I like that kid. So we last left off. Terry had broken his heart in two because he showed up to their house drunk and with a heart on, and her dad, the preacher, misquoted the Bible, and he was like, actually, sir. And now it's 11:25, Christmas Eve, 1985. Emptiness consumed me as I made my way back home. He wonders if Santa has anything for him on his sleigh, like a new heart. But then I realized that Santa, like love itself, was just a figment of my imagination, an ode to a more innocent time. So then he's like, well, he's doing the long trudge home. He's thinking, man, well, maybe I can just start not liking Terry. What? He's trying to think of things not to like about her. She's beautiful. She was kind. She was funny. She was a good kisser. She had beautiful breasts. And so then he's like, well, I don't know. She picked her dad over me. That's just going to have to do. Yeah. So he gets to his house, and Gloria Sugling was outside on her lawn. Remember the neighbors that have all the decorations? The Suglings. She's looking sad. All the women kind of generally look sad in this book, so there seemed to be a theme. Sad women. That Andy Brown is assessing their shallow, empty dreams crushed. He's like, oh, hey, how's it going? She's like, oh, yeah, it's all right. And then she goes, he's walking up to the house and he goes, sounds like they're making up. She's motioning towards the father's bedroom window. Now, I had a little problem with this. Mick Foley writes, excuse me, comma, I said, a little confused. You read that, excuse me, and not even question. So I wrote a little question mark in there and what I asked because he's confused. And Sugling says, I heard some pretty loud voices a few hours ago. Sounds like everything's fine now. Good night. And he reiterates, good night. I walked up the drive slightly confused. Still confused. Yeah.
Excuse me isn't a question, though. I know it's said with a question lilt, but it's really not. You're saying, excuse me, because I don't know what you're saying.
Pardon?
But I don't think that is either. I think in proper...
Excuse me. You could say not excused. I don't know. Maybe you could be very well. I'm sure
look up the usage. What the usage people say about this.
What about come again? So he goes inside his house, confused, and he hears thumping coming from his father's room. And he's like, "Wow, Tietam and Holly. All right." He could feel the stairs vibrating. I guess from his dad's thumping, the stairs are vibrating.
You got a rickety ass house there.
Yeah. Holly knew her verbs. So again, we have Andy listening. And
what does that mean? The F word?
Yeah, she's dropping F-bombs, I think. I don't know. She could be saying shit, I guess. Like,
well, shit's not a verb.
I mean, you could use, look at the adjective. You could use it.
I guess you could. Okay.
Fun, yeah.
I
Shitted. You shitting me? All the same, I didn't feel like listening. Partially because I didn't like what I heard. And partially because I did.
Oh.
Gross.
The fuck?
I didn't want to think of Holly that way. And then he hears his dad say, worm that tongue, baby. Worm that tongue.
It's going to get worse before it gets better, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, this is the trigger warning episode. So he goes, oh, hey, I have that. Remember that tape cassette, the personal cassette player that he refuses to call a Walkman? I still have that in my pocket. I just need batteries. So with the help of a couple batteries I found on my desk, and I wrote, case closed, no threads. He puts on Nat King Cole, and he's listening to that, and I felt myself fading off to sleep. I didn't hear the door open. He just sees the flash of light, His dad is standing in his entryway, in the doorway there, and he can smell the alcohol. And so his dad's standing there with a bottle of whiskey. And he's got a red Santa hat on his head, perched on his head, and a smile I didn't like glued to his face. The Santa hat was all he wore. So then he sees another movement in the darkness.
This sounds like our Stu Hart erotica.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Santa definitely moves with speed in that. Also, and he seems to be kind of on his heels here. So all of a sudden he sees another movement, and now he realizes he's not alone under his sheets. And his dad's laughing now. And I felt something strange. A mouth on my penis. I guess it's strange how the brain works in times like these. And I was like, I guess. And then he explains what he finds strange. When the whole world seems to freeze for just a moment or two. Just enough time to squeeze out a thought. This is another Mick clunky, like, lead into just a joke. Like something like one of his, he's what would you call? I'm losing the word right now in my mind. He's quite the artiste, you know. He's got the damage. He's got the humor. You know what do they call those? Like a Harmony Korine we were talking about. What do they call him? His thought. Hey, she's doing more than just tucking me in. Remember, Holly was supposed to tuck him in and read him a book like a child. So he feels a penis on his mouth, and his first strange thought is, and I admit I agree, is, whoa, Dad's girlfriend's not just tucking me in. Can you hear all that?
Yeah.
There's a raucous game of hide and seek going on outside the door. So I turned to my side, away from that mouth, and now he's turning off the Nat King Cole tape. He needs to figure out what's going on. And his dad's laughing. It's the laugh of a sadist watching a fish on dry land, gasping for air, flopping in vain.
I like that Faith No More video.
I thought of Bret Hart. I thought that was very Bret would be like, you know, he not, you know, Ox Baker fell down. It was like watching a fish on dry land, gasping for air, flopping. But that mouth was persistent, and it stalked its weak prey until I turned on my stomach, and it gave up the chase. So this phantom mouth right now is
persistent,
trying to find purchase. Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Why are we? We're not Nabokov here, writing Lolita. I mean, it stalked its weak prey.
Well, he's soft, I imagine. It'd be strong if it was hard. Or it's tiny. I don't know why it's weak. It's like a little mouse. So then the figure slid out and threw up its hands. A voice I'd heard only that night filled the... So he's giving you little clues, okay? A voice I'd only heard that night filled the small room's tense air. I give up. The kid's way too scared. Tietam's laugh stopped. Then his voice was heard stabbing the night with cruelty and hate. He grabs the woman's arm and gives it a turn, so she screams. So now, this also, Tietam start ratcheting up that he's like insanely violent. He's kind of tripped around the edges of that we assume that maybe he is, I suppose, but now he just starts absolutely getting.
Well, so far it's only been the preacher that he's been violent to, right?
Oh, Clem. No,
I mean,
Clem
no, not the preacher. No, the people he lived with, his foster father.
Oh no, I mean Tietam.
Oh, the father.
Yeah, now we ratchet up Tietam's violence.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
So he's got the girl by the arm.
Because Andy, starts ratcheting it up too.
Yeah, yes, he does. I knew her face, and I placed
This
her
turns
voice.
into blood sport very quickly. Like it just fights.
Tietam Brown yelled, "Suck that dick." This is why we were talking about in that.
Mick expecting people to read this as like a coming of age story that like kids could relate to.
What did he say on the Observer Radio?
I don't
He
remember
just had these
now.
stories that he wanted to tell, or something
He
like that.
didn't. I thought he'd have more to say. I'll say that much. You know what
He's
I mean?
keeping it pretty short and sweet.
Yeah. I think he was just pissy because he had to come back to promote it.
Yeah. Yeah. He says. Now this is what I was talking about in that previous episode where we were debating why is Tietam Brown's dad, Andy's grandpa, why is he laughing and like cheering in the other room when he's taking people home? And I was like, is this a Brown family tradition, like learned behavior? Because then, but why? That's not a real. I guess he's the pimp in that situation, but why is he?
And
seems
hey,
like
you never get the explanation on that.
No, you don't. You'd think your first knee jerk is, oh, his dad was a prostitute, or Andy's grandfather.
It's like Rawls
but no,
the Wire.
But because of this, now you're like, no, I guess when he was taking people, making money, I guess taking the tricks home with the prostitute, sex worker, work is work.
Or he's just renting a room. He's just in that aspect of it.
How's he making? Now he's losing money. Oh, they're paying him. Maybe he's the. You're saying he owns the motel.
We kind of. I mean, in the drug world, you kind of had to do that. You kind of had to pay the house.
Yeah, but then is part of that the drug guy, the dealer, is cheering you on as you smoke some crack. Yahoo! You go, buddy.
You might have to share.
What are the perks? Yeah.
And the perks.
Yeah. And then with a push, the Virgin Mary was free. So there it is. He drops the bomb. It was the young lady on the front lawn that earlier was checking, like, "Hey, how are you?" The Virgin Mary for the night. I could hear her small sobs as she crawled under the sheets, and Tietam's laugh filled the air. And this is the one with Mick that I was like, okay, he's trying here, and it doesn't come off horribly. Where he writes about like how he was feeling in this moment. I don't know why I didn't try to stop it. I wish I tried. I could say now that I did, but I didn't because I can't. But I didn't. And he's shame. He feels shame, but he's also aroused. And then, I mean, this is probably going to be a sentence that lives on with me forever. When her, I really just kind of stared at this sentence for a while. It's so funny that it came out of a wrestler's book. It's not a great. It's just funny. When her mouth took me in, when her mouth took me in, I instantly thought of. The dual. I'm having trouble with this because it's also, I think, something I say as a joke all the time. I instantly thought of the dual nature of man. When her mouth took me in, I instantly thought of the dual nature of man, and I nodded. Yes, the duality of man. Think about it, won't you? And I thought he was going to go into it, but then he's just like, and then I'm also thinking about my father. He's used to be my hero. Now he's hated. And he thought about himself. He's experiencing both the best and the worst feeling of his entire young life. So Andy's thinking, and he goes, did I want it to stop? Yeah, part of me did. He felt like he was helpless, so he didn't fight it. And he wished what he wanted to stop was his dad's cruel laugh. And so he turns his Walkman back on to turn on the Nat King Cole again to try and like drown out his father. I didn't outlast the song. My whole body shook with both pleasure and shame. And he tries to hold on to the pleasure part of it, because I knew that once it ended, my new life was done. That nothing I loved would ever love me again, and okay. Yep. Mick is taught it to people. Now he's looking at his dad, whose face it has whiskey dripping down his chin, and he's backhanding it off and taking swigs. He had a face of contempt and smug satisfaction. The king back at his castle. The Virgin Mary is hugging Andy's leg, and he's trying to like stroke her hair and be like, okay, this is, she knows she might be returning to hell. And sure enough, the dad's like, tells her to go back into the room, and the clock is turning 12 on to Christmas Day, and he hears the cracking of beers, the flipping of cards, and his dad is doing the nude workouts on Christmas. What do you think? That was the end of that chapter.
Yep.
Gus.
Well, I'm just. Why, Mick?
It's a coming of age story. Not your dad's coming of age story. How about that?
Clearly not.
Something a little different. So Christmas Day, 1985. He spends Christmas morning. He hears sobbing, crying, cruel laughter, and then she leaves, and he starts thinking, I should have gone in there and stopped it. But he didn't. Then he hears his dad sobbing, and then 3 hours later, his dad leaves the house, leaving me alone in a house I couldn't stand, in a world I couldn't change.
We still don't know where Dad's going, right?
I think he alleges that he believes that he is, whenever he leaves the house, it's to go and look for a new gal.
But he doesn't work.
No.
Did he have a Lloyd's of London policy?
I don't. It's kind of just, it's funny. It's explained, but even then, I was like, I don't think so.
Is it? Okay, I must have skipped it.
So he goes to take a shower to wash off the sins of my father. Previously, Andy does shower a lot in this book. It's either to masturbate or to wash off his night emissions, or to wash off the sins of his father. But it's usually brought up when he showers. That's always clogged. So he goes back down, and all the presents, that they were all going to hand out and be a family about, they're all still there under the tree. But now there's pictures hanging from the tree. Pictures from a magazine of a blonde-haired girl with a pretty but not beautiful face, having odd deeds done to her. Graphic things. Oh my God. The girl was Holly. A few years younger, a whole lot blonder, but that was Holly nonetheless. And then he remembers where he actually had first seen Holly. The Pussycat Cinema. The adult movie theater that his dad took him to. To the point that I went back and I was like, is there any setup for any of this? And it's all the way on page 9. And he doesn't really say anything other than there was a pretty but not beautiful blonde, a face that was far too sweet for that line of business, having odd deeds done to her. And then Tietam, that keeps nudging Andy and going, that's the money shot.
I remember that.
So that was this, and now, so now he realizes that he's seen Holly before, and those are her. She used to be a pornographer, and and then she dyed her hair, and they never put two and two together. And vomit came forth in violent bursts, splashing the presents, splashing the tree, catching a letter beside a special delivery envelope.
Why is he puking? Because of his hangover?
No, I think he's puking because of Holly being this angel, his angel in his mind being, a sex worker.
That's so. That's weird.
Yes, it is. It is an odd.
That would make you puke.
Violently.
That would make a 17-year-old boy kind of interested. Would it not?
You were just sexually assaulted the night before, and like that's what.
Yeah, he doesn't. A lot of sexual assaults. Either is some kind of retching or something. There is a physical revulsion to it. But he's just kind of like that. I mean, he's sad about it for sure, and he feels shame because he enjoyed it, and but then also he violently vomits when he realizes Holly's a pornographer, his angel, guardian angel, splashing the president. So he pukes over everything.
So Andy doesn't respect sex workers.
Yeah.
Well, he did have that thing where he was like, "Oh, I'm glad she's not or I'm glad she is a virgin." He does kind of have a relationship where it's like, "Ooh, that's yucky." Using your body in that way is like it's
Madonna horror complex.
Yes, the Virgin Mary. Should we analyze that in the big crescendo Mick Foley has, it's a woman, but he keeps writing her as the Virgin Mary is being forced to sexually assault Mick. What is there a grander thing that Mick's thinking about?
I'll just say Mick wasn't lying when he talked about how Catholic he is.
The father is having the Virgin Mary sexually assault the son. There you got the three, or is the Holy Ghost? Which ones? I think it's different for different ones, right? Don't the Catholics hire the Mary in higher or lesser regard, or
no? Catholics hold her highest.
Higher.
Yeah, the evangelicals don't. Mary's nothing. She's like number 3 in Catholicism. She's right up there.
He saw like a lot of paintings growing up, and he was like, "But what if?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I can't think like that." But what if it was forced on me? Then I couldn't do anything about it. Interesting. I say that just because it's from Mick. I'm just curious what Mick's working through here. Is he just think this? I'm going to find this word eventually that I keep trying to find to describe this kind of crude art.
Not transgressive.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to try to find. Yes.
Okay.
That is he just being it just for the sake of being it? Is he just like, oh, this'll, or is he kind of being genuine and he's like attempting something? We talk about that. Are they actually attempting something, or do they even know that they're doing it?
I guess it's weirder because I wish I could find him talking more about it. That's why I was upset by the Observer interview, because the fucking guys hadn't even read the book, so Mick's just reading off, the standard answers as to what it's about, and yes, wrestling's in it. I'd like to know, like, what is Mick drawing from on some of these choices? Is he a David Lynch guy?
I don't know. What's he reading? He always didn't he talk about in his book about reading and all that stuff, that he finds himself fairly well read? I feel like he was. He'd talk about that. I feel like
it was always nonfiction.
It was airport. It was airport books. It was like the Battle of Antietam. And I'll pick that up.
He's a big Tom Clancy guy.
He stands there and he violently pukes, and then he picks up the special delivery envelope that he puked on, and he reads it. And it reads, "Dear Tietam, tell me what I'm doing to you and tell me you love it." It was from Mrs. He puts it all together. It's from Mrs. Baskin. She had sworn vengeance, and now vengeance was hers. So Mrs. Baskin, she has been probably to the Pussycat Cinema, I guess, and she saw Holly, and she's like, that's a porn star, an adult film actress. She goes and finds a magazine with Holly, old pictures of Holly, finds the old, maybe from her husband, cuts them out, and puts the pages, maybe Tietam cut them out and hung them on the tree. I'm guessing Tietam did that. She just sends the pages, or whatever, of the pictures as revenge to Tietam. That was in the door when Andy left that evening.
Is that said?
Yes, all this is said. I'm repeat. Mrs. Baskin did this. And so I'm trying to figure out how she would have figured out and had old dirty magazines around.
I don't even understand what the problem is.
Her husband got beat up, and she had been hooking up with Tietam.
But how is this revenge? Just showing naked
because
pictures
she knows
Holly.
Because
who cares?
She also knows. She
these
knows
are
as much as the readers.
People. That's why I'm shocked. Like these are these are weirdos. So who cares?
Mrs. Baskin knows as much as we do, and he knows that he's found true love with Holly. She saw it at the dinner, and she then I think she asked Clem Senior,
"Can I go through all your?"
Yes. Yeah. Can I go through all your magazines? Because I think I saw that girl.
Oh.
Or maybe he told her. I don't know. But she mailed the pictures to Tietam, and then Tietam cut them out and put them on the tree, and got mad out. Then they were fighting, and Mrs. Sugling heard all that. Okay.
I still don't know why.
So.
Wait, who blew Andy?
The young. Trust, by the way, this also, when it all kind of gets stripped out,
it's not Holly.
Kept having to flip. Holly's gone. I had to also keep flipping back and be like, who is who? The Virgin Mary is just some gal. She's never really taught. That's why last episode I was reading, okay, remember all this as he's leaving the house, because she keeps going, the Virgin Mary's picking in on me. The Virgin Mary said hi.
So why did Holly leave?
Because I'm guessing they had a fight over the pornographic pictures. And then Tietam probably was like, I've seen you in movies. And he was mad.
Is that said?
I mean, Holly wasn't there when he got back. They said there was a fight. Then she goes, oh, it sounds like they made up because she's hearing the sex now.
Yeah. But that was
then
another woman.
He goes in.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
not Holly.
So you're adding fan lore to all this.
Like I said, it's not real
Don't
smooth.
cover up Mick's poor writing.
And because I on myself also had to keep flipping back and going, okay, wait, line them up. Okay, so when did the Virgin Mary show up? Who is it? Because he won't say she doesn't have a name. He just calls her Virgin Mary. Then I'm thinking Holly. Then he says, oh, that's the girl from the Pussycat. No. Miss Sugling's old.
Okay.
So he starts walking. He covers the 3 miles to Cortland in record time. He was. This is Mick again. We've got only X amount of pages left till the end, and he does one more thing of like, just so you know, there's something else that's gonna come up. Because he writes, I'm not in the mood for Nat King Cole. Nat and I would part ways for quite a long. As a matter of fact, Nat and I would part ways for quite a long time. For the tape made me think of Holly, which I wasn't ready to do, and my mother's old album. Well, I'll get to that soon. Don't worry about it. Why do we have to know this? Man, Nick, he thinks about
Nick. You're a weirdo for being into Christmas,
and you're making it weirder somehow.
He goes. He's thinking about Holly and how Holly they had that heart to heart on Christmas Eve day, and how she told that people can change. I'm living proof. And Mick, as Andy writes, sometimes old ghosts don't die as easy as that. Skeletons that bang on the closet door until they're let out. Because I know old bones sometimes follow me still. All right.
Should have just wrote some poems, Mick, and you could have excised a lot of this nonsense.
Yeah. Bukowski wrote. I have a collection of letters from a creepy old man. And then he wrote, I really had a problem. As for Terry Lynn Johnson, and I wrote, as for? What? As for, I didn't know we were thinking. Okay, as for Terry Lynn Johnson, I thought of her too. He brings up, going there drunk and having a hard-on, and then he writes about the father. He just felt like he had to speak up. I just couldn't let him continue to foul the air with his words, so I'd spoken up and was glad. I'd done the right thing. For who? For what? What audience? I had been right, and she had been wrong. So there you go. There's where he stands on Terry. He's working at the diner. A one-handed waiter with a crooked smile and a broken heart, gorging himself on slice after slice of Mary's homemade pumpkin pie. He's eating his feelings. He gets a $10 bonus and a ride from the new Cortland teacher named Thompson. Just underline that, because Thompson, okay. Now we know there's a new teacher, and his name was Thompson, and he gave Andy a ride. And he also, there was this other thing. Yeah, he drops Andy off at the movie theater after telling several stories about some guy named Bochco. Is this an inside joke? I guess it is. It has to be, right? Who's Thompson and why are they talking about Bochco?
All right, hang on.
This is the end of the book. I'm like, what?
He's just amusing himself at this point.
Yeah. Who's Bochco? Type in Bochco Pro Wrestling.
Well, right? They think you're talking about Bochco, the guy who wrote NYPD Blue, because that's how you spell his last name. That's Bochco.
Bochco.
Yeah, Stephen Bochco.
I'm typing it. Wait a minute. Oh.
But Thompson, there's no affiliation with. So I don't know what Mick's talking about.
Maybe it's an anagram or something. Maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's something. He's trying to tell us something. I'm turning into Charles Manson.
His friend Danny Zucker probably is laughing his head off when he reads that.
Yeah. Maybe it's Tube. Or how would that work?
All right, keep going.
You're spending too many cycles on trying to.
So he buys a Coke and a popcorn, and he's going to see Rocky IV. We talked about it. It released that day, or maybe the day before, or Thanksgiving. It released Thanksgiving of 1985. Rocky IV. He was watching the other.
Mick did his homework then.
Yeah.
Good.
Although Rocky III still in theaters. Did he see Rocky? Which one did he see? Or no, he saw the correct one. Yeah, he remembers that year. Yes, he saw Rambo that came out that same year. Mm-hmm. So he sees that and he's like, well, it's just not the same. Thinks about playing that tape of Nat. Doesn't want to think, and again he reiterates, I don't want to think about Holly. I just don't feel like celebrating, because he says, it's about celebrating the Savior's birth in the song. So then he goes home, and his father's having sex again. But it sounds pretty tame. But then I thought I heard some choking. Then an anguished cry of stop. And he realized that he needs to do something. I could not just die inside while a braver man begged to be set free. And she says, stop one more time. She screams, stop one more time, and Tietam let loose his laugh. And he rushes out of his room, and he goes to the telephone. He dials 911. And he goes back up to Tietam's door. It's locked. So he's going to do what he's seen TV cops do. And he shoulders in. The phone goes skidding across the floor. So he's carrying it up. It's a mobile. It's either got a really long cord because it went upstairs from the Maybe there's one up in a landline main up in the hallway. I don't know. It's over, Dad. The police are on their way. And his dad is just doing the Tina Brown stare, just placid, just staring at him while he's naked there on his hands and knees.
Hard.
On his knees. Assumedly. Doesn't bring it up, but I mean, shade in your own details. And, Tietam goes, yeah, that's good. Maybe Officer Charlie, if you remember from earlier in the book when he was talking about, Gloria was one of the gals that was hooking up, and then he has a 3-strike rule. He stops going to the well, and then if you remember, her husband is a police officer. So maybe Officer Charlie can be leading the charge, say hello to his wife, then I'll play him a tape of her tongue in my ass.
Burn that tongue.
And he's like, oh my gosh. And then now this dawns on Andy. This is Gloria Sugling, my next door neighbor. That's where he'd heard the voice. Andy hears voices, and he knew that he'd heard Gloria's. He knew, I know this person. But then Holly, it was the other woman, and he's going, oh, hey, Holly. So he goes, pick up he wants him. Yeah, call the police. Do it. Do it for poor Miss Sugling. Do it for her. Do it for the Halloween pumpkins or the scarecrow. Don't you want to see a scarecrow next door instead of a for sale sign? And he's going back to the decorations. Did we ever really get a good handle on why Tietam is so offended by them sparsely decorating their lawn?
Because he wants to be better.
He has a thing where he thinks they think they're better than him.
Yeah.
He's looking at Miss Gloria Sugling, and she has I was laughing at this part because you have to visualize this, Gus. Her face was equal parts sadness, pain, fear, and shame.
25% across the board.
Yep. Each got the 4 quads going, and I tried. I kind of like just to myself was like, how does that sad? And then you got to do pain, also fear.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The eyes have to work a lot in all those emotions. You're either wincing or eyes are. So I don't know how you. Maybe one eye was doing one, and then.
Bizarre.
She reaches for her panties. Oh,
But-
Look.
I don't know. See, this feels like Blue Velvet to me.
Yeah.
Tietam is Kyle
Dennis-
McLaughlin's character, and Dad is Dennis.
Oh,
Hopper.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Right,
kinda
because he
got
thinks
that.
he's saving Dorothy in that movie, but she's actually kind of into it. And that's what this feels like here, that scene.
So maybe Mick has he's hip. He's hip to it. We talked about last week. He was like suburbia. There's something ugly underneath suburbia.
Mick would have been in college when Blue Velvet came out. That'd probably be right? A time to see it.
Yeah. I mean, Mick's probably watching Scorsese movies and going, man, Marty and me, Catholics that think violence is art. Crazy. So she goes to reach for her panties, and Tietam got to them first, which then in my mind paints a picture where he's like scrambling around the bed to try and make sure. And he says, I'll keep these here. And then she goes for a bra, and he throws it out the hallway and goes, you can dress outside. Get out. Take your fat ass and your saggy little tits and get out of my house. So then Andy walks her home, puts like a blanket over her, walks her home. What a sight for the neighbors. That's fun. Hey, that guy that had an amazing nativity. Now the neighbor's coming across with her son. She's naked. She's got saggy little tits. And when he gets back inside the house,
Yeah, see,
dad-
that's from fucking Blue Velvet too, when she shows up naked on the front lawn.
there you go.
Mick is... come on, man.
Well, he's playing the when Andy gets back into the house, and his dad Tietam is playing the tape. He records all these adventures, these crimes, and he's playing it. He was playing the whole ugly thing, and he sang while he played it. Gloria. I can't with this guy. Gloria. So Tatum is singing Gloria while he's listening to himself say "worm that tongue, baby" and all that stuff.
Gloria.
Yeah.
Point to progress on that one.
Yeah. So he's just like, whatever, I'll ignore it, and he tries to fall asleep. But he does. I woke up a short time later, feeling something wasn't right. Hot breath in my ear.
Don't do that.
Hot breath. And his dad has his arm hooked in a way that wasn't natural. If you ever threaten me again, I'll kill you. Do you understand? And then Tietam deliberately tears Andy's shoulder from its socket.
It's like Benoit waking up his son.
Lord God. Did we talk about that possibly, because we talked about, maybe I think when it's revealed that Tietam's doing like squats and all this stuff, and then I think we find out later that he's like kind of a goofball in his past. This is about to be revealed. When was this? 2003.
Oh, and he was undersized.
And then, is Mick pulling? Does Mick know more than he's ever let on?
I was thinking this guy was Mike Graham, honestly.
I've pictured, like I said, Randy Quaid. Then then he's a short little, and then I was picturing like Jack Nicholson or something. Like he's going for some kind of like,
Mike Graham would have been a road agent that Foley worked under in WCW. He would have known him.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Talking about Mike Graham that would put somebody's head on a spike if they crossed him. That tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'll chop your head off. Real brave, Mike.
Can we take a short break?
Sure.
Before we get to December 27th.
Okay. Yeah. Larry muted himself, but he's shaking some kind of, I don't know, maybe a vinaigrette or a salad or maybe a cucumber salad. He's getting the mayo all running around it.
Get a protein shake.
Oh, he's shaking the protein shake. Does anyone have anything to say about Tietam ripping Andy's arm out of its socket for challenging him and standing up to him?
I'm sorry. Any opinion about what? The father doing this to his son?
Yep.
I mean, they're such weird, non-realistic characters that I'm not really shocked by anything. I mean, I thought the dad was a sociopath before.
Well, so December 27th, 1985. I went to the bus stop at 4 a.m. and his right arm hurts, and he figures that maybe after he blacked out, so he blacked out from the pain, then his dad put it back in. And he thought back to the detective that had come to the house and said, "Not a scratch on him." And his dad going, "You think that big guy could have assaulted me? Look at me." So now he's starting to think maybe his dad does assault people, but he does it in such a way that he gets away with it. No harm, no foul, as they say in pickup basketball.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So then he thinks about Holly, She deserved better than to be on display this way. He's talking about the pictures that his dad had cut out and hung up. It was as if she'd been lynched and was hanging, left to rot. Mick, stop.
Yeah, again, weird opinions.
It's quite. I mean, that's a picture of Holly being in a pornographic picture of Holly hanging as an ornament from a tree is similar to being lynched and left to rot. All right. So he takes all the ornaments down. All. There's 9 of them. And he's about to throw up again, and he swallows the vomit.
I could see Mick being like an advocate for an organization that gets women out of porn.
Yes, for sure. Let's see. So despite her environment, he says, Holly, I saw, still had the eyes of an angel. So even though she's in some kind of way in these pictures, she still has the eyes of a sweet, a nice person, not somebody who do something like this.
Yes.
So he's talking about now he's scared of his dad. Clearly his dad is violent, and clearly he can be violent without leaving any kind of evidence. And he says that he fears for his dad's soul, and he writes, I hope that doesn't sound too preachy. Your book. You sound however you want. So he calls the operator. He asks for Eddie Edwards. There's 3 of them in New York. He gets a hold of, finally, the Eddie Edwards, who lived on 132nd Street. He gets on the bus. He gets dropped off in Midtown, which is 90 blocks away from 132nd Street. And he walks those lonely 90 blocks. Thinks.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna see how. Go ahead.
You're gonna check out the geography on this?
Yeah, I mean, you do those big walks there. I don't remember how far uptown that is.
Mick decides to make Andy. He adds some shading to Andy's character, Andy Brown here. I wish I could say it didn't worry me when white faces stopped appearing, but uptown was a whole new world, even for a kid with a past like mine. He even has to be like, you'd think I'd be used to seeing minorities. Nope. Luckily, I had one ace in the hole. A dad I thought might kill me. I slept next door to a monster, so why sweat a walk through Harlem? Okay, Mick, settle down.
Yep.
So he meets...
I don't know. That's something we had said during when we were reading the book too. And I was just goofing that saying since Mick was from Long Island and was a Irish Catholic, he probably has some interesting opinions on race.
No, I mean I don't think they're unfounded.
Well, not anymore. Yeah, I feel like I'm justified now. I mean, at the end of this book, I don't even know what the dad's what that whole subplot has to do with anything.
Yes.
Just the race part, though. Like, who cares?
I mean, Tietam Brown becomes like the ultimate. I mean, he goes whatever. He's like a weird, funny guy, and then he's just an unhinged lunatic monster. So he survives Harlem, and he gets to this guy's Eddie Edwards' apartment, and Eddie Edwards has a black and white portrait of a beautiful black woman hung over his mantle, the room's centerpiece.
Well, Mick's right. It's an hour and 40-minute walk.
There you go. And then some smaller black and white photos are around. One showed a group of soldiers, all black except for a white officer, he thinks. He's also making a lot of... Andy's guessing. He's like, his wife, I guess. I didn't ask. Eddie Edwards, lean and strong, holding up his fists. So Eddie sees him looking at that picture and goes, "That's 63, the same year I met your dad." And he says that he met him down in the Mississippi Territory. And Andy's like, "What's a territory?" He says, "I don't want to sound naive, but what is a territory?" Eddie fires back, "Geez, I'm sorry, son. I guess that I forgot. You grew up without your dad, so you don't know what a territory is." Which I then thought, is Eddie Edwards under the impression that Tietam would have smartened Andy up had he been around? He would have explained what a territory is at some point.
I don't know. This is all silly.
So he's he also brings up that, his dad had said that Eddie was dying. He doesn't look like he's dying. He's fine. He's just an old man. He asked you, so he explains about the playing cards. He says my dad exercises. He wrenches that in there. He's like, oh, he still does that. He explains that they were wrestlers. I was shocked. Wrestlers? Then Andy laughs. Like the kind that's on TV. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. It's just that my father's just a little guy. I can't see him screaming and throwing punches. Eddie's like, well, he didn't. And Andy thinks to himself, Eddie Edwards deserved better than to have me laughing at his life. He was about the nicest guy I'd ever met. I can't think of any nicer. You just met this guy. You've said a few sentences to him.
Well, he did invite him out, sight unseen.
But the nicest guy, I guess, on his list, sure.
Yeah,
it's
he's not touching his genitals yet. So.
Yeah. So far, this has been a completely normal human interaction, so it's a big win for Andy. He goes that he says that Andy's dad, Tietam Brown, was from Albany, but then they moved when he was young to Wigan. The guy that was married to his, I guess there was originally the one Tietam, but then maybe the mom married somebody else or something.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't think it's Tietam, the grandpa, that takes them to Wigan. It's some other person that, like a stepdad type figure. Anywho.
It is with some guy his mother met. Okay, yeah.
So the guy's mining coal in Wigan. Andy says, what the heck is Wigan? And Eddie says, Wigan is the place where your dad learned how to hook. Hook? Hook. What is hooking? That's where you learn how to hook. Hook? Hook. What is hooking? I did what Eddie confirmed, but I was just like, what I do. And Eddie says, hooking is the art of causing pain. That's how it's kind of written out. A lot of ... And his your dad is basically, he's just a pound for pound, like he's the best hooker.
He's a dynamite kid.
Yeah. And his dad is also.
This is all payback. This is all payback for Dynamite Kid breaking Mick's jaw in that jobber match. Or whatever he did.
Boy, howdy. Well, hold on to that thought. So remember, Tietam's well read. And Eddie informs Andy he read books about the body. Not Jesse. Just to be clear. He read big books. So he goes, what happened? The promoters had... essentially he informs them...
Maybe he's Gene LaBelle, too.
Judo Gene LaBelle.
Yeah.
Eddie explains that because of his dad's size and because he could actually shoot, promoters like to try and humble him and humiliate him, try to teach him respect, right? And then he says that wasn't until November 22nd, or he doesn't even give a year. He just goes, the day the president was shot. He goes, you wrestled the same night that the president died? Wasn't it canceled? Wasn't it like a national day of mourning? And Eddie says, in Mississippi? And he informs Andy that Mississippi was still racist 20 years prior.
I think that still holds true.
Yeah. And Andy, in a voice just above a whisper, says, he's a sweet 17-year-old boy. Let's see. He says that they did not like JFK in Mississippi. He had caused them a lot of problems about a year before down at the university. Okay. Thanks, Mick. I nodded, but really didn't know what he was referring to, although I made a mental note to check.
Good.
Thank you. Now, is that Mick as Andy telling us, like, hey, I'm talking about something real. You should check it out. Pretty interesting. Civil rights. Read a book in your life. Mick's telling us, read a book in your life, huh? Think you're so smart. A promoter named Fuller took a chance and brought us to Alabama as a team. And they thought that would draw some heat. Did it, draw some heat? It did. And they rioted. It's so much heat, there was a riot. And they said, okay, we can't do this. It's too dangerous. He writes, old man Fuller was there at this riot. Even his nutty kid Robert. He says that his dad worked at Japan. And Andy asks, oh, they have wrestling there? I mean, I know they have sumo, but... And then he's like, oh, imagine your dad in a sumo suit. And Andy says, I thought of my dad in one of those sumo things, even though many times I'd seen him wear less. Yeah, he's just always thinking about stuff. So he is informed also that his dad is cheap. His dad is very frugal. And he saved all of his wrestling money. Now remember, he was never a star. He just kind of just worked. Kept his overhead low. He goes, he always kept his overhead low. And he always said that he was saving enough that he could live if he did that. And then Andy's like, wait a minute, like have a crappy house and a crappy car? And he's like, yeah, that's the ticket. And now it all clicks in for Andy. He's living on his wrestling savings.
Okay.
Okay. So then he comes back. Tietam comes, he comes back from Japan, says he doesn't like the people, and he's married, and she's with child. And then Eddie also informs Andy that he thought maybe Andy was going to be Asian. So he assumed that Tietam had met an Asian woman. Then he hears he's in Georgia, working the Georgia territory, Eddie, and he hears that Tietam's changed. He'd taken to drinking and whoring around, hooking guys in the ring, hurting the boys just because he can. And this prior to this, they got along because they were both very religious, and they did not do any of that. So soon, Tietam can't get work, and because he keeps hurting everybody he gets in the ring with. And you'd think from all the other books we've read that would be applauded. It's not.
It could be low-key.
I thought at first you were saying it could be applauded low-key. Like, yeah, no, it could be low-key. I feel like Tietam's a little brighter than low-key.
Okay.
Has low-key read The Art of War? As Tietam has?
Oh, yeah.
I knew that. Has he? What was the other book? The Bible. So Eddie gets a favor of the territory. I think it's in, what is it? Is it where is it? I don't know. Charlotte? No, he's saying that he's just giving, like, oh, he catches on. Anyway, tells the office about him, and they're going to give Tietam Brown a gimmick of a flower power hippie type guy named Downtown Tietam Brown. They wanted to humble Tietam Brown, and this is where they want the Tietam to bleed in the match. And Eddie says, "Now some boys loved bleeding. We called them queer for the blade." But Tietam doesn't. They'll have to do it the hard way. Tietam tells people if they want blood, he goes, "You're gonna have to do it the hard way." And then Eddie explains that Tietam loved it when people would be punching him in the head with their knuckles. And Andy's like, "That's barbaric." So he goes into his room. Eddie goes into his room at one point because he hears the punching. He thinks he's beating the woman, but Tietam's just punching himself, and blood's everywhere. Okay, and then he says we get more Tietam lore. He's going to start using a tape player. He tells Eddie, "I'm going to start using a tape player to record these gals." Let's see. He gets to the building. Tietam's not there. They want Tietam to put over a big Texan boy. He's got a fringed vest that says Texas. So what happens is basically Tietam goes into the ring with this kid. They'll make him look good, and he takes one bump from the kid, and then the kid's going to do a 3-point stance tackle, and Tietam moves to the side and just knees him in the face. And as he's telling all this stuff, Eddie's like starting to get choked up and like freaked out over that night. The kid, his teeth were all gone, at least most of them. His nose is smeared all over his face. His right eye, is just hanging there, dangling down from its socket. So then Tietam goes over to the kid, and he punches the kid in the face, smushing the eye against his cheek.
Jeez. God.
And then he gets worse, Andy. Do you want me to keep going? And Andy goes, yes. He goes to the back, and they're like, dude, what did you just do? That's crazy. And he stood there and he blew some blood out of his nose right where those teeth were. Because like there was just like loose teeth or something like that. No, he's pulling teeth out of his knee. That's how hard he hit him with his knee. The teeth went into his knee. And Tietam drops the N-bomb. Good old N-word slur on Eddie Edwards. Calls him a something such and such. and then he leaves. And that's what I guess got. Well, no, it gets worse. He's right. It does get worse. He calls Eddie Edwards this whole time has a wife. She's becoming a doctor. He calls her to be like, you will not believe what I just saw. She sounds weird. He's like, she's acting distracted. She's drunk. And he goes home. She's kind of still acting goofy. And then I see it, Andy. It's hidden, but I see it on the television set behind our wedding picture. A deck of cards. Your father's deck.
So wait, Dad banged his wife?
Yeah, Tietam had sex with Eddie Edwards' wife.
Oh, nice.
And he says, we just kind of acted like nothing. Like, I think she knew I knew, but we never addressed it. We just became best of friends, turned into total strangers. But then he says, Eddie Edwards claims he opens up the Bible. He puts his finger down in the open Bible, and it says Luke 6:37. Forgive and you shall be forgiven. And he's as simple as that. And then they just moved on with their lives. He forgave her. He felt forgiven for whatever past transgression, and they moved on with their life. December 31st, 1985, evening. Andy spent 3 days in New York with Eddie Edwards, just seeing the sights, helping out the homeless. The kid next to me, he's on a bus from New York to Middletown. Middletown. He had long hair and drank beer. Lent me some tapes to help pass the time. Zebra, I think, and some Blackfoot too. And a band I forget with a really ugly singer who's saying we're not going to take it. Wow. What's the mixed issue with D. Snyder, correct? Am I getting that right?
I think they're friends, actually.
Yeah, I think he's ribbing them.
Oh.
They're
He's
both
doing
Long
the Al
Island
Snow
boys.
thing. Okay, wait. If you rearrange the letters in Bocho, is it like Al Snow or something? Thompson? What was Al's real name? Yarvin? Sarvin.
Yarvin.
Al Yarvin.
It's close.
Ellen Ray Yarvin.
And then he goes, they offer him pot. He offered me pot. And he said no. And then later I realized I had a good contact high. I was high on life and secondhand weed. And he goes, he's back in Cortland. Funny how quiet it was. And I wrote, was it? And he goes over to the Dark Horse, and he doesn't know why he's going over to that bar, where all the college kids hang out or whatever it is. I can't quite remember, but he sees there Clem, Baskin, and Terry, and they're holding hands and sharing a Coke with one glass, 2 straws. And my poor heart, my poor heart, was now again smashed to dust. He did leave a message on his dad's. I forgot to mention. He leaves a message on his dad's answering machine that Holly had gotten him that said, just that I'm, I'm safe, I'm fine, I'll be back in a day or something like that when he returns. He goes to the answering machine. He presses play. He hears Terry's voice. She saw him watching them. She explains that Clem is this. Now we're getting into this. Like I said, it starts rocketing towards the end. There's just dates and just a little couple paragraphs. Clem is a Christian, and his parents gave themselves to the Lord on Christmas Day. I need that right now for me and my family. Andy, I've asked God to forgive you. Maybe one day I will too. Goodbye. And he's sad. And now it was New Year's Day. Now it's January 2nd. So did they spend New Year's Eve? She spent New Year's Eve with Clem, huh? At the Dark Horse. Okay. January 2nd now.
Wait, what?
Because the one where he comes home, he says, I came home, it was 2 a.m, and he checks the answering machine. So the priest now was New Year's Eve, right?
But what's the Dark Horse?
The bar that's in town. Remember when that's where
not the father?
No, the Dark Horse is the bar in town. Remember when he saw the big kid with the flannel shirt doing the same thing, and he was watching that guy's heart? Maybe he was having a temporal shift, and he was looking at himself because he wears flannel, and he was. Well, I don't know.
I do remember.
I'm trying to make this book better. I think in my mind. January 2nd. He dreads January 2nd, the first day of school for back. And he's walking the halls, and people are kind of saying hello because of the nativity. They're like, "Hey, over winter break, the hell of a nativity." And then he hears someone say, "Did you do it? Yeah, tell us about it." And they're all talking about it. Then he heard Baskin's voice, his cocky high voice. "Yeah, I did it. I fucked her last night in the Lincoln's back seat." And Andy's thinking, yeah, I fucked her. The F word. Hey, what we were talking about used as a verb, a powerful verb. And then Baskin comes over to Andy. "Hey, Annie. Yeah, you heard me right. I fucked your girl. She loved it. She begged me for more." Just like when things looked like they couldn't get worse, they did. Period. Did indeed. Period. "Hey, Brown. Annie Brown. Oh, yeah, she loved it because I did it so good. Not just one touch and squirt like you, little boy. Hey, that's it. That's your new name. One Touch Annie Brown." Gus, do you like this book?
No, I fucking hate it. I'm done.
And Andy thinks back when she was mine, chasing me with her breasts as the fall leaves swirled around. He's trying to find a happy place.
So that fucking Terry's got a mouth on her, huh? Telling stories.
Yeah, that's not nice. That's not nice.
What's that mouth do?
And now, then later he sees Baskin is bullying people. He's being like, "Yeah, give me a punch." You know, he's telling kids to punch him. He's ripping off his shirt. He's stalking people around, I think it's in the cafeteria. He's ripped off his own shirt. His body's still white. His back acne's still red. He goes up to Annie. "Hey there, One Touch. How's everything? Think you might like to give me a punch? Or are you going to come in your pants? Just like old times." Old times? And then he's saying his football friends are like, "Yeah," even though he's like, "There's no way they also know that I came in my pants." But then after that thought, Clem fills them all in. "Yeah, One Touch here shot his load as soon as he touched Terry Johnson's big tit." Singular. Well, I guess they knew now. So she's flexing. What does he do? He grabs like a orange or something. Stuffed the wedge into his mouth.
Yeah, it's a citrus of some kind.
Yeah. He yelled at me, and he stuffed the wedge into his mouth. He bit down on it hard, offered the room a big yellow smile. What a weird book.
Right, it says he was flexing, shouting through citrus flesh.
Yeah. And then he talks about Holly. "I knew all about it. Your mother the whore. Yeah, One Touch, your mother's a whore. She's in porno mags." And then Annie goes, "Oh my gosh, this is what my dad was talking about. I could tell him right now that, well, your mom licked my dad's ass." But if you remember, she had said, "Promise me you won't tell Clem." And he was going to keep that promise. So he all of a sudden by the way. So then Baskin goes, "Look at this. His mother and aunt." He's actually got a page of Holly porn. A page of poor Holly and two men with no faces. So Baskin came prepared to start this, instigate this.
Yeah.
And he can't finish the sentence. "Look at her face, all covered with," because his mouth was full of my fist, clear up to my wrist. And he goes, he hadn't planned on saying. He just snapped, split second. He doesn't even remember grabbing his quarters. And he knows he grabbed his quarters in his pocket because over $1 was pumped from his stomach, along with 3 pieces of teeth and a whole tooth as well. And then this school, or his friends beat the shit out of him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He gets the one punch, cleans this kid's clock, and then he was down. Just like the old coach, just a barrage of knees, feet, and fists pummeling him. Unconscious.
Who's running the school? I mean,
well, it was Hanran. So this is the residue of letting a monster like that. If the students felt comfortable enough to attack him at the game,
just for blowing a couple of fourth downs.
Yeah. You're gonna lose this game. Hold on, I might need to pause it real quick. So now it's January 2nd, 1986, evening. His hand is throbbing from, the punch. He realizes that he's been unconscious 7 hours. He had teeth lodged in his knuckles. He did have a thought, I think, during the rage thing. Oh, like father, like son. We're both violent. This is 2003 that this book came out. Mm-hmm. He thinks about his anger, his rage, and he thinks of David Banner and the Incredible Hulk saying, "Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry." I wondered if Clem Baskin liked me when I was angry. And he's heavily medicated, and he feels that, hey, someone's holding my hand. It's Terry, my Terry. She's holding my hand. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're awake." And she goes, "Andy, please."
It's Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
You're the comic book guy.
No, it's Bruce. I think
it says David in the book.
Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't even really. I just kind of glossed over that. It is Bruce Banner, and then I thought maybe he's thinking about Bill Bixby, but that's his name isn't Dave Bixby. It's Bill Bixby. And then I thought maybe he thinks his name is. I think Mick thinks Bill Bixby's name is Dave. Or maybe he's making a little joke about Meltzer, how ripped he is.
Dave Banner. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd think an editor would catch that and be like, it's Bruce. It's Terry, and she's pleading for forgiveness, and he remembers about Eddie Edwards, Luke 6:37, and he gives her a smile, a goofy, doped up but wonderful smile. And she's showering him with kisses, and she even says thank you. So she was in the wrong. There you go. She's learned her lesson. Let's see. So again, he says he's in a narcotic state, and in that state, the glow of the light in the hospital makes her look. You'll never believe this, but Terry looks like an angel, like the angel of mercy, sent down just like Holly to help a lost soul, and just like Holly, I knew that soon Terry would be gone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 4 commas. To this day, when I think of my Terry, this is a really clunky, stinky one. To this day, when I think of my Terry, which I do every day, I think of her first and foremost as that angel of mercy. And then I think of her black lingerie and her bare, beautiful breasts.
Cool.
Fucking hell. So she interrupts this train of thought to go, I thought he loved God, but he just wanted me. I kept saying no. But he was so mad and so strong, I just couldn't stop him. And she told her dad about this. She said, I was assaulted and that you stood up for me. Or maybe, no, first she tells him, the dad, that Andy got hurt at school fighting Clem Baskin. And he said, good. And she told her dad, shut up. Yes, I actually did. I talked back to my father. And I told him she tells him everything. She tells him about the assault, tells him about the Hanaran and all that and everything, the whole book. And the dad slaps her. That's his response. And I saw him the way you did last week at my house. God help me, Andy. It took me 17 years to find out what you did in one day. I just was writing, boo. Boo. I don't like this turn of events where the daughter was unaware that her dad was a blowhard. At 17, she's still closeted of this, and Andy lifted the veil by correcting one verse of the Bible. And then the dad says, we're going to send you away to a school far away from all of this, where she can't humiliate him, where everyone knows his little girl is a slut. That's what he called me, Andy, a slut. And then she runs away to come see Andy, and she says,
did put out pretty quick for Baskin. I mean,
that's covered. And you won't believe who decides to cover it in the book.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. If it's forced, I'm sorry if I'm making a joke about that. Am I problematic now?
No.
No, because I forgot that it is explained. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we have one person's view on it. Yeah.
Yes.
When she's running, she's driving away, the dad is cursing her. He's quoting the Bible to her. And wouldn't you know it, Andy, he got the verse wrong. Andy can't talk. He's just kind of like taking this all in and trying to smile at her. And she goes, I'll write you. I got to go now. And I hope you write me back, but I understand if you never do. I don't think that a single day has passed that I haven't thought of that moment, her hand holding mine. Maybe I think about it more than I should. So I wrote here, because Andy talks a lot about, and many times in this book he brings up that he thinks about this instant or day or moment every day of his life. Mm-hmm. So Andy wakes up.
Time.
Yeah, he thinks of safe bosoms. That's first, I'm guessing. First off, safe bosoms, thinking about that.
As he is still nuzzling his pillow. That's what he's thinking.
Yes. Yeah. Then he thinks of Terry wanting to kiss him. He likes that evening. He remembers that.
And then his kettle of course, over.
Yeah. Then you better believe he moves into the breast in the black lingerie. And she's also the angel of mercy. And also then he thinks, of course, of Holly. And that all the times that he thought about that, that day, the day that she touched my cheek, the day that, she had the heart-to-heart. And then he thinks of his dad. He did bring that up, that he thinks of his dad often. And then he thinks of his mom, because he's probably going to listen to Nat King Cole. and then also Holly, who also is an angel of mercy or something like that. And then he thinks of the hand holding. That about rounds out his day. January 5th, 1986, afternoon. His dad picked him up from the hospital. And he goes, well, should I forgive my dad? Or did he even want forgiveness? He acts, his dad is acting normal, then they get in the house. And it's just kind of stony silence. But then his dad says, we need to talk. So he's in his room. Tietam comes in. He's knocking softly. Tietam's kind of hat in hand. And he says, I'd like to say sorry. Let's see. And Andy says, sorry for what, Dad? My shoulder? It's a little too late. Or for raping our neighbor? Are you sorry for that? Or for my Christmas Eve blowjob? Or maybe you thought that was cool. Whatever it is, I don't want your sorrow. And Tietam says, I'm sorry for Terry. He's like, huh? Why are you sorry for Terry? I know about
wait. What's raping our neighbor?
Sugling. She was crying, no, stop.
Okay.
And that's when he finally got the courage to go in there and go, I called the cops.
See, I thought he was referring, and this is why I thought the Virgin Mary was Sugling was, the same.
Yeah, no.
That's okay.
No.
Was that the dad grabbing the arm was in making her blow him was the rape?
No.
That's why I was confused.
But that also technically he is. So there's some kind of version of that too. But with the college, I'm assuming that the college age, because they were finally college kids, right? So he says, I know about Baskin. So he's like, what? How does he know about this Baskin stuff? He says, I think what happened is my fault. And he says, I was actually outside the hospital room. She was talking to you, explaining everything. I could have stopped it. I figured out I could have stopped it. He says that he knew that the Baskin kid wasn't a Christian, but I believe that she thought he was, or she at least wanted to believe. And then he goes, do you remember Baskin's mom? He says, yes. And he was talking to me, we used to have fun, him and the Baskin mom. He goes, I know, Dad, I was listening. He smiled for just a second, then said, that's right. I forget. And Andy writes, I smiled too. Damn that Tietam. He had that way about him. What way?
I'd be so grossed out if that was my dad.
Yeah. I'd be very upset.
It's because the way the Tietam character, you could probably write a character that's very like disarmingly charming or something like that, and have some kind of some scenes in the book, where that's portrayed. But all he does is it's this faux intellectual stuff. He has like a turn of like a hokey turn of phrase. It's usually kind of crude. I don't know. I mean, I know guys that are crude, that are people, that people tend to enjoy, but I don't know. In spite of everything, the thought of Tietam to this day, sometimes even now, in spite of everything, the thought of Tietam makes me smile. So Tietam tells Andy that, Clem's mom was telling me that he was a real bad kid, strangling cats, things like that. Said that he forced himself on his own mom. And that freaks Tietam out. And he's like, I thought at that point.
It's because he's on the gas.
Yeah.
He's on steroids. Did you say that?
Yes, Clem is. Yes.
Yeah.
And he wants a piece of his mother, I guess. And he attempted at some point. So Tietam's like, dang, I thought she needed help. Like, she needs to talk to somebody if that's going on, And she, he said, that night where she wanted to be held and all that, she was all drunk. And he's like, yeah, what did you do? And Tietam goes, I made her call me Clem. Her son's name. And then he says, all she wanted was a hug, and maybe I was a little rough with her. Then you came home. You had the hand bruise. So he's like, here's the book from my point of view. And he goes, I headed over to the coach. I was like, I'm going to hook this guy real quick. And instead, that guy beat the shit out of him. And, but then, he got around it. He did get him. And then he says that beating and me in that state where he's freaked out by the Clem stuff, that he did that, and that this was going on. And then the fight and all that. And he goes, I think I was weak. I think that's what happened when Holly came around. He let his guard down. And he's like, yeah, she told me about all her woes. She left the, pornography stuff out. And he goes, could you forgive her? Tietam says no, he cannot forgive her. It's not something he can do. Andy thinks to himself that he's a counselor, a philosopher, a shrink. That's how he's seeing himself right now. And he's doing thinking again. Thinking of all that I've learned during one monstrous week. Thinking of Holly. Thinking of Eddie. Thinking once again of Luke 6:37 or whatever it was. And he goes, nobody's perfect, Dad. We all make mistakes. And this annoys Tietam. He's getting angry now. Do you know what my mistake was, Andy? It was thinking she was different. But she was just the same, just like Sugling and Baskin and Terry. That makes Andy mad. Terry, take it back. And his dad is walking. I guess he's walking out, but now he's turning around, and he goes, I saw her grab your balls. And Annie thinks about it, and he's like, so? And Tietam now is fired up. She let you feel her up right in front of me. So what if she felt up Baskin? Let him grab her tits. Listen, kid, that's carte blanche. He's got the go-ahead. Some girl feels my nuts, I take her home. That's just the way it is. Now maybe no means no to you, but not to me, and I doubt it did for Baskin. She touches nuts. That's pussy's his. And don't think that cock teaser didn't know it. Cry about it afterward is wrong. He was well within his rights. So, Tietam Brown is part of the sexual assault brotherhood. He's got his way of seeing things.
So he thinks the kid was right for having sex with the mom.
No, he thought that was weird. But he also thinks
then
that
what's
she's
justifying? Terry and
that Holly, that all women are whores. And he should have remembered that. That's what he's proposing. And
but which relationship is he referring to? Clem and who?
He's referring to Andy and Terry the night that he got dropped off by their dad. And Terry was hey, turn around. And then he cupped her. She felt his nuts.
Okay.
And so, but Terry and Tietam's going, I watched that. And if she's doing that in front of your daddy, of course she's also touching his nuts. And if you touch, and if the way I know, if you touch my nuts, it's on. And he goes, look, Andy, I don't want to hurt you. I've done enough of that already. I did like Terry, but she'll break your heart over and over. That's what women do. And now he looks over and he looks at his Nat King Cole record from his mother. And he goes, Nat King Cole. I never did care for that slur. So now his dad's a racist too. And then he looks at the record and he goes, reminds me of your mother. That's why I don't like him much. Kathy Collins, your mother's maiden name. Well, isn't that sweet? For mother to son, a gift. And then he just fucking throws the record against the wall. Shatters it. Real bad dude. And Andy cries out, "What, Dad? Why?" Well, he goes, "Steiner, you learned about your mom." And he goes, when you gave me a call, I checked the phone records. I saw where you're calling from, a house owned by an Edwards. Let me ask you, Andy, what was a nice white boy like you doing with a dirty slur like Edwards? Did Edwards tell you about the little gift I left? My calling card? 52 cards to be exact. Funny thing about that slur, talking about Eddie, not his wife.
This is like Jackie Brown. Mick has license to do this.
Yeah. So I suppose she is one also. They're religious, right? And there's laws in Georgia. And there's some guys that actually follow those laws. Laws that make certain acts illegal. And he goes on and on. And, Eddie Edwards was a good Christian, But meanwhile, his wife is dying for it. And then he goes, Did he tell you about the thing I did in Texas to that kid? And Andy's just kind of crying and nodding. And Tietam says, "Wow, he did, huh? Well, you and that slur must have been best buddies." He's just liberally dropping him any chance he gets. If he didn't think he was bad enough. So he's like, before I showed up, remember he wasn't at the show at first. It's because he had gone to Eddie's place. And I show up, she's drunk, but she tries to fight it at first, but I know what she wants, so it doesn't take too long. She's fumbling with my trunks, believe it or not. I'm still wearing my trunks. My balls are all sweaty, but she doesn't care. I guess, is that after the show? I don't know. The funny thing is Eddie's wife can't suck a dick. She doesn't know how. She's never done it. The slur's all teeth. He's like, "Oh, Andy, you crying? Andy, you crying?" So he just goes, "Okay, keep crying. Let it all out." And then he moves on to his, his villain monologue. "Books are great. You know that, son? They can teach you quite a bit. But sometimes books alone do not suffice." And he goes, "They can't teach you everything. For example, I've done quite a bit of reading on the history of Japan. It's just something I'm interested in. I never knew, but during all that research, I never knew that they have a thing for blonde girls. Blonde singers, more precisely. And they hire girls to sing, fly them over on a one-way ticket, and let them know that they need to do a little bit more than just sing for their money. Did you know that?" And Andy's like, "Okay." His head, everything hurts. His head, his hand, his shoulders. So Andy, put yourself in my shoes for a second. So now he's made beautiful love. He's for the very first time. This is Andy's trying to get his son back to when his Tietam was in Japan. He met a girl. And he's fallen in love for the first time. She's carrying a baby. You sing that child's songs. Then one day your wife, who's due in 2 weeks, she comes into the room crying, saying she's got a small problem. Says she's not really sure what's growing inside of her. Could be now an Asian slur. A nasty, slant-eyed, father-torturing slur. Oh, I think, is that mentioned that Tietam Brown's dad, real dad, fought in a war and was tortured? Andy's grandfather was tortured by the Japanese.
Eddie told him that.
Okay. And Andy feels bad for his dad. That apparently, yes, that, it's possible that I guess that his mom slept with or was assaulted by somebody when she was singing in Japan. I guess it's very blurry. I was having trouble tracking this story too.
He throws a lot at you in these last couple pages. tying up a lot
And
of loose ends.
And he goes, Andy, I feel sorry for you. Why? Well, it's really quite simple. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is your mother was a fucking whore. I like that we're very sensitive about the race stuff, but like any word like that, that's not nice of us. So, Andy snaps into a rage. Calling his mom a whore is going to do it. And he throws a wild punch, and Tietam catches it, and he takes his arm in with his, and he takes his hand, and he snapped his fingers like pieces of chalk. First the pinky, then the pointer, then the two middle ones, finally the thumb, which he pulled from its socket with deliberate care. And so then Andy's passing out because his dad has, grabbed his hand and broken all of his, and locked it, and then broke all his fingers. He's prone on the floor.
Yeah.
His forearm is pressed against his neck. His left arm is hooked around my right. His legs are wrapped around my waist in some strange configuration. He's kind of giving more vanilla. He's, look at me. I use the F word. You shouldn't use the F word. We know it's a verb. Don't use it as an adjective. Clem fuck Terry, or did Terry fuck Clem? And Andy says he feels his will to live leaving. And
that he took from Brett.
Yes, from his time with Stu.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Stu. Is Tietam Brown Stu?
You go potty? No.
Well.
And Tietam Brown admits to murdering their mother, the mother. And he's like, this hold I got you in, don't you think that would do some damage to a woman that's like 2 weeks from giving birth? All that blood just came gushing out her mouth. Knew she was gone. Just like I wanted that fucking whore, she was gone. And he goes, but you were supposed to be dead too, but you were alive. But goddamn you, boy, you were supposed to. And then Andy again does the thing where he goes, I think that die was his word of choice, but I'll never know for sure. For just as in my incident with Clem Baskin, not many pages ago, that last word never made it out. I would say, Mick, you kind of shot yourself there in the foot a little bit when you were like, you used the, you didn't get to finish the sentence thing. And he's like, oh man, I gotta do it again now. And he puts his head back in Tietam's mouth, knowing that feeling that he knocked out some teeth. This gets his dad off of him. Then he's kicking his dad. He's stomping on his dad and stomping his head, kicking his ribs. His dad is reaching under the bed. He's trying to grab a bat. And Andy's screaming, I'll kill you! I'll kill you! And Tietam Brown is going, no, Andy, don't. Please, Andy, don't. And he's screaming, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. And he's kicking him and pummeling him. Blood is spilling out of his face. He's kicking him. He's stomping his middle-aged balls, quote unquote. But then Andy's thinking something's wrong. His dad's moving and and like getting beat up and all this, but he's doing the dang calm face thing where he's just staring at Andy with blood all over his face as he's getting pummeled. And then he saw his mouth form a red, jagged smile. And then he charges at Tietam. Tietam gets up. He charges through Tietam. He thinks about the kid in Texas, and right when he's thinking about that, his dad steps him, scissors his left leg, and breaks it in half. And then Andy passes out. And then last thing he feels is his dad throwing him down the stairs. January 8th, 1986. Okay, there's an old man. he informs Tietam Brown, Andy Brown, that I am the chief psychiatrist at the state hospital in Ithaca. And he's nice. And he goes, he sits down and Andy goes, I think my father set me up. I think he wants me in jail. I think he wanted me to hurt him. I think he killed my mother. And I think he wanted me in here. And I think he broke my leg all by himself. Not by falling down the goddamn stairs. I think that my father is a rapist and a murderer and a lousy goddamn father. And I think I want you out. And I think I want you out of here. I think I want you out of here. Oh, the guy, he wants the doctor to leave the room. Okay. So that's, he pitches the story. I like that he says, I think, and all this stuff. His dad admitted all this stuff. He knows it. I think he killed my mother. But Andy's a thinker. We know this. The doctor's being very sensitive to him. He calls him Antietam, and Andy notes that and says, I was going to object to him using my full name, but I decided not to do that. In fact, I never did. To the chief psychiatrist at the state hospital at Ithaca, I would always be Antietam. Okay, so a little bit more of learn what's going to happen in the future. He informs Andy about all of his father's wounds, that his liver was severely lacerated, his body had nearly drowned in its own blood, 2 ribs were fractured, one of which punctured his lung, and a testicle required drainage. And he'll also need a lot of work on what you did to his teeth. And essentially, they keep going back and forth with the doctors telling him that he believes Andy, and that he all these things that Andy brings up different things in the book, and he's like, no, I believe you. And he says, Antietam, I'm not completely unfamiliar with your father's superpowers. That's what he calls them. And he goes, well, you know what? I'm pretty well acquainted with your dad because you remember Coach Hannaran? He's a patient here. He's a patient of mine. So he's heard the whole Antietam Brown can hurt people without showing any physical signs, and then he'll take a beating and this and that.
So now it's like a murder mystery. This doctor's going to uncover the secret.
Yeah. And then Andy brings up, did he tell you how he raped my neighbor or how he made the Virgin Mary perform oral sex on me? By the way, when I was flipping through weeks and weeks ago, I was flipping through the end of the book and seeing that sentence, I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I thought he took like a nativity like doll or something like that and like was doing it to his son. That's how I read it. With I had no context other than he made the Virgin Mary perform oral sex on me. I was like, what did they do? And he goes, well, you know that maybe you shouldn't, say it was the Virgin Mary because that makes you sound crazy. And they both share a laugh. The laugh we shared was timely and it helped create a bond. Gus is gonna hate this, where this is all going. I'm like, my stomach is tightening. A bond that would grow strong with time. So as I would later share with him all my thoughts. And this is where he finds out. He talks about how, did you know that he says, I went and visited your dad and we talked, and did you know that your grandfather fought in World War II and that he was all messed up and that he had syphilis, a very common, very treatable disease, but left untreated can cause dementia. And Andy is an idiot, so he asks who held him captive over there. And he says the Japanese, of course. So he says, you're angry too, and essentially what your dad wants is that you to get treated here, and he won't press charges. So you won't go to jail. You can be here. We'll treat your anger. And Andy kind of keeps pushing him like, well, why am I in trouble? You know, this is, and he goes, you can't tell a jury that. It's very like muddy and like, why is he in there to begin with? Why is he in the state hospital? Instead, like for the mentally, like, this isn't, it's so confusing. I guess he's in there because he's hurt too. He's injured as well. But why? But it kind of gives the impression that it's a psychiatric play. Like, so he agrees. You know, he goes, okay. He goes, you know what? In 6 times you'll be out before your 18th birthday, and so it's, you know, this is a good deal. And then he gives him a letter. Terry's letter. I yelled the words and then yelled them again. Terry's letter. And he says that he smelled that letter every day. Okay. And I wrote, add that to the list. And he's going, thank you, doctor, thank you. And the doctor turns around. The doctor turns around and goes, the doctor's leaving. The doctor turns around and goes, Masters. Dr. Masters. Do you know who he is?
I don't remember who he was. I remember the stupid joke. Who was he, though?
He was a friend of Tietam's, or a guy he knew back in school who loved ass so much they called him Ass Masters.
Okay.
Or Ass Blaster, or something like that, right?
It was Ass Masters, yeah.
Epilogue, December 1991. What? Dr. Masters died in September. September the 14th, 1991.
Yeah, hold on to your fucking ass on this one.
yeah. Strap in, Gus. Strap in for this epilogue. Dr. Masters died right in front of Coach Hanrahan. Or to be, I hate this shit. And he's still doing it at the very end. He does it twice in a row. September the 14th, to be exact. Or, to be more precise, Coach Hanrahan died right in back of him from a massive heart attack. Dr. Masters died in back of Coach Hanrahan from a massive heart attack. Died right in back of him because he had died while attempting an uninvited act. You see, Gus, Dr. Masters, you know, Ass Blaster or whatever his name is, he likes butt. And what he was doing at the hospital, of course this is happening at Andy's hospital, he's raping the patients.
Drugging and raping, right? Because don't they say...
Yes. Hanrahan is a shell of a man, a doped-up shell of a man. And he, you know, Mick has a little joke in here.
And not only that, but do you remember what else Masters did to himself?
I thought he
cut his own dick off, or he cut his dick with a zipper.
Jeez, you're getting ahead. Yes. See, as he's having the heart attack, he's thinking, oh my God, people cannot find me like this. So he tries to zip up his pants, and instead he severs the tip of his penis off. This is all while he's having a heart attack. It feels a little bit like Mick is like writing in a notebook, and it's kind of gets a little juvenile, where it's like, okay, yes, shocking, Mick, yes. Yes, he cut the tip of his pee-pee off. Very bloody, very... Okay, yep, got that image in my mind now, yep. Very transgressive.
Why was any of this needed?
You don't like this? Listen. Who lay dead on the floor with his penis severed from the wrath of his own zipper, which had caused a puddle of blood that had started to run into tiny rivers like veins from a heart. So, the man who said I would be out by the time I turned 18 was dead. A man who had pumped me full of Thorazine and used my honesty as a weapon. It was Dr. Lucas Masters, or Ass Masters to his friends.
Which,
he likes-
hang on, I do want to point this out because she has a point. Carrie read that sentence.
Mhm.
Veins from a heart.
Yeah.
Veins go to the heart. Arteries go from the heart.
Accurate. In Mick's mind, the heart and then the veins come out.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And he brings up again, because you just have to. It's so funny. Dr. Lucas Masters liked to ride the Hershey Highway. Remember that? And he likes to think that even though Mr. Hanrahan wasn't a great guy, that maybe he summoned, much like the thought of mighty Samson, he summoned the courage for one last great feat of strength, and he summoned his last remnant of his former glory and shut down his ass, just refusing to let it open, causing the distinguished doctor to strain too much and grab his heart. And he brings up again his last act of self-preservation, and then Andy starts putting himself in his shoes, because you should. When you hear a story like this, you're like, what would I do in that situation? And Andy goes, I guess I would have done the same. And he writes out, if I was a rapist of drugged men, what would I do? What would my last act on Earth be? And he brings up again, would the teeth of that zipper bite into my penis and rip off the tip? And I wrote, why are we doing this still? Why is this still going? So they release Coach Hanrahan, because I guess crimes have been committed against him. And he gets a plaque in Canton. He gets a People magazine cover, and a network movie about his story. I guess it's about the coach that was super racist and a statutory rapist. And then he got sent to jail, and then he was raped. And
well, I mean, that kind of sounds like the end of Clockwork Orange. It's like the reformed person,
yeah.
and then they're like celebrated after they're reformed because
Yeah.
they had something terrible happen to them.
There you go.
But wait a second, a plaque in Canton, that's the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, he played pro football. I guess they put him in. They're like, sorry. I guess they said, well, no, it didn't. It seemed like he had a cup of coffee, but I guess because of what had happened to him, they felt bad. They voted him in that year. They're like, God damn.
Just like Brian's song.
Yeah. I'm sure there was some newspaper article that was like, well, this guy's also a rapist. Yeah. This guy also raped children. Yeah, but then he was raped. Look, how many defensive tackles did he have, though? Let's keep on topic. So Andy's let out, and it's also revealed that he had kept 27 letters from Terry Johnson from Andy, and his.
You think she sent any pictures?
I don't know. Oh, and also they figured all this out too because so sure enough, yeah, they're like, oh, he died, and they figured that out.
Shit.
But they, I'm watching. Am I behind you or ahead of you? Oh, is it going to be?
Did you see Adam Cole?
Oh,
die?
Yep. I just had the same reaction. That's not good.
No,
That's not good. Oh, that's not good. Holy Lord.
What did I tell you?
I don't even think Fletcher realized what happened there. Where were we at here? Yeah, he does say, wow, I guess they'll leave out all the racial slur and rape stuff out of his TV movie. And he says, my trusty lawyer then jumped in. And he starts kind of talking about his lawyer as like a jamoke. But it's like, man, you hired him. He says that his lawyer launched a massive lawsuit, which he claims will bring me millions. He goes, well, I didn't get the People magazine or a movie, but my lawyer definitely went on a talk show and talked about not giving up the fight. And he says, well, at least one viewer saw that talk show with his lawyer telling about, Andy's story and been moved by it. And they sent Andy a package postmarked New Hampshire. It read, attention Andy Brown. And he knew right away because it still had that same wrapping paper from Christmas '85. It was Holly's gift. So Holly saw the talk show, sent him the gift that she was going to give him, that she must have taken it with her, kept it, sent it. And it was a portrait. Inside was a portrait, a real work of art of me and Terry, and a letter inside. So I guess she unwrapped it and then rewrapped it. There was on the letter, there was a phone number, a train ticket to North Conway, and a long apology. And he's like, I didn't need an apology. So now he wants to do a couple things. He wants to locate his old girlfriend and see what became of Tietam Brown. He tells his lawyers to figure that out, take it out of their millions that they have coming to them. And they do this great work of that the Johnsons moved and they could be anywhere. Okay? And then they tell him that the father sold his house in '88.
Well, that's because they fell victim to an audit.
Yeah. They ran. You think they could find them, though. Seems like they were lazy. They're like, I don't know, they could be anywhere.
They're in the dust.
Yeah. They're in the way. My father sold his house in '88, moved out of town. But he did live 20 miles away from the hospital, I guess. He did not pay, he says, did not pay his son a single visit where he lived 20 miles away. I try not to think of him too often, and I fail. Did they stop the match, Gus? Or did they just take a break?
No, they're still...
Okay.
Cole's back in the ring.
Okay. So now he's heading through Vermont en route to the White Mountains of New Hampshire, just a little way from that children's park where it's Christmas every day.
Nick, come on.
So what if I'm 23? I still want to ride the coaster. He's getting reacquainted with an old friend, Nat King Cole. And he's got thoughts of happiness and thoughts of Terry. And he's like, one day I'll find her. But for now, I'm just happy thinking. That is the theme. The amount of times he writes thinking.
So what's he been doing? Where's he been?
I'm thinking about that autumn night when she wanted me to kiss her. The end.
If he only did 6 months in jail, what?
No, he didn't. He did more than that. He did 5 years.
Oh, okay. Wow, so he's an ex-con? No, that's not.
Acknowledgements. Writing this book has been one of the great joys of my life. Rewriting it again and again, well, that's another story. He wants to thank McKay Boyer for sharing her knowledge of adoption, foster homes, and juvenile correction facilities in the state of Virginia. Thanks to Dr. Scott Biasetti and his wife Anne for their insight into the health and social services system in the state of New York. Thank you to Dr. Mark Lerman for explaining the complexities of the New York State psychiatric system. I have a hard time believing he did all this research, and it's so muddy and you're going, is this how it works? To Dr. Russell Hamilton for confirming my theory for the terrage possibilities of a certain part of the male anatomy. The asshole.
I thought the tip of the penis, I thought.
No, oh. Well, I thought...
There's no asshole ripped in this book, is there?
I thought...
And that's not male anatomy.
Right.
Yeah, that's...
No, that's true. Yeah, you're right. I just assumed... I was still on the coach, the doctor, Assmasters. That was still just ringing in my head, and I was like, he asked a guy about, if an asshole could shut down and clamp down. Well... What didn't he shove his... No, that was balls. Maybe it was about balls. And yeah, the tip of the penis. He'd also like to thank Terry Funk, Harley Race, and Robert Fowler for their memories of wrestling in the segregated South. And he'd also like to acknowledge in Tietam Brown, the novel, Sputnik Monroe for his role in changing the way the business was run. And also thanks to William Regal for filling me in on the history of hooking in Wigan. He thanks his wife Colette, who was always enthusiastic about what I'd written, and Barry Bloom, Lisa Bloom, Jennifer Chayton, Barry Blaustein, Dana Albarella, all shared their valuable and sometimes painful opinions of my original manuscript. He had to put it in there. He didn't. I think he thought it was a good piece of business, and then some people read it and were like, which I could have sworn was perfect when I handed it to them. Thanks Claire Dipple and Lydia Grunstra. And also a special thank you to my agent, Luke Janklow, for finding this book a home. Having come from a world where huge holes in a storyline, implausible plot contrivances, and completely unrealistic characters were not necessarily considered bad things, I found Vicki Wilson's standards awfully tough to live up to. And when she let me know I felt kind of like the kid who snatches the pebble from the old man's hand on that old kung fu show. Elated, but a little sad that the journey was over. Where's that rank, huh, Tietam Brown?
Man.
I think Russo? Russo's was tough, but I mean, he's so dumb. I don't know.
There's a lot of fun stuff to clown on or pick up on with Russo. This is just...
It was worse than Sophie.
You think
so Sean is vindicated.
You think it was worse than Sophie?
I was wrong. Sophie's Journal is not the worst book I've ever read.
I don't know. I think it is. Of what we've done here, I think Sophie's worse than this. Sophie's so bland and boring.
Sorry, but Sean. At least it's simple. It's a light read. You move through it pretty quick.
It is more exhausting with what Mick's doing. You're like, yeah. You're taking on a lot of his stuff, which maybe, I don't know, I mean, it's good. He's good. I guess, huh? Did you feel transported, Gus?
No, I felt I could not relate to anything or anybody.
I still don't know what this kid's life is about.
Yeah.
He likes Christmas for a variety of reasons. He's got an odd relationship with Christmas now. I don't know. It's named Tietam Brown, so I guess it's about him. I guess him, the dad. They're both Tietam Browns. I was trying to figure out, on all the different artwork of the book, one's a cartoon of just a random ass thing. That my book has just a little child doing the put your dukes up.
Yes.
A little black and white photo of a child. I don't know what. I feel like the people that were trying to sell this book were what do we do? We put a deck of cards on there? What do we do? I don't know how to sell this. My pick next, and I gave it a lot of thought about the cookbook thing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order the cookbook. I'm going to look through it to see if it's even worth doing that first one. But I think what we should do, especially with JR, I think we're going to do...
He has 3 goddamn biographies.
He's got the one about the beginning, then the one about his, and then he's got under the... How many does he got? Because then he has the one about 3. The calls, the announcer's calls thing. He talks about his best calls. I think we're going to do a list of books by author. His first one, My Life in Wrestling. Slobber Knocker, My Life in Wrestling. Is that fair? Are you okay with that? Is that okay?
You read that one?
I've read. I think I read Under the Black Hat, but I don't really remember much other than laughing about it. I have a hard time getting through Jim Ross stuff because I picture him, and he's such a. I always just feel bad for the guy. I'm sure he would not want that, but that's how I feel. He's put upon. He's very put upon.
Yeah, but again, JR's got a side to him. He moves in the shadows.
Have you? So I take it you've read My Life in Wrestling?
No. What is
that? No, that's his first book. It's called Slobber Knocker.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm just saying. I don't know. he's still pitiable, but I don't know. He's a little more underhanded than he lets on. He uses that southern charm to his benefit.
You think so?
Yeah, he plays down like he's the dumb farm boy, but he knows.
He consoles two naked 600-pound brothers in the shower after a rough match. He's working on a farm as a kid.
Good.
Oh boy. So this will cover the Bill Watts stuff, right? Came out in 2017. Correct? Did it really come out that late? I thought that was a lot earlier.
Wow, I thought he had a book while he was under. I thought WWE, but
yeah, I thought Slobberknocker was while he was there. Interesting. Written by Jim Ross and Paul O'Brien. I'm just checking here to see if this is accurate, the information, but I can't show more. Book authors. Yep. October 3rd, 2017 by Sports Publishing. 332 pages. All right. Well, I enjoyed Tietam Brown. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about Mick. I have more questions now. I have more questions about Mick's childhood than I did when we read his book. I mean, he kind of painted his childhood as like, it's like any other one you'd find up there. It is what it is. Okay. We signing off. Bye.
Bye.